A new week has passed. A new Exorcist series has appeared on Shonen Jump. Only this time, instead of weekly Shonen Jump, it's on Shonen Jump Plus. But still, Shonen Jump seems to be releasing a lot of Exorcist series so far. So yeah, we got Oversleeping Takahashi by Koki Aguro. It is just one of many new Exorcist series coming out from Shonen Jump Plus. And just like the past month or so alone, we've got Yokai Buster Murakami, Kyokudo Necromance, News Exorcist, Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. So that's 4 right there. Oversleeping Takahashi's 5. So yeah, Shonen Jump has been on a Exorcist kick lately. And you know what? I'm totally down for that. Like, I know a lot of people are upset about them constantly releasing a new Exorcist series, but I like stuff like this. So yeah, I'm totally okay with this. So Oversleeping Takahashi is going to be a comedy battle series, which is kind of funny because that's what Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi was promised to be. Except I feel like Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi has now become more of a slice of life Exorcist series with just the occasional battle here and there. Whereas Oversleeping Takahashi seems to focus more on the battling, at least when compared to Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. So Oversleeping Takahashi summary is from the one-shot of the same name that amassed over 1,580,000 views. A one-shot that I actually haven't gotten a chance to read. I haven't been able to find a translated version of it. If anyone knows, please let me know. But yeah, a classmate who is always nonchalantly late to school, but his identity is the new serialized story of battles and oversleeping begins. And so we start off immediately with the end of a battle. We see like an alley and is basically saying that on certain days, at a certain place, at a certain time, in an alley that shouldn't exist, you'll see things basically, and there's demons, evil spirits. Takahashi immediately exorcises it. He just punches it, destroys it, and he turns to this mother and daughter, and it turns out that the ghost was about to attack them. They want to repay him somehow for saving their lives. And he's like, oh, no worries, I'll just pass him through. And they're like, no, like, you saved our lives. Like, please, we have to thank you somehow. And he's trying to reject them in a nice way because he's looking at his phone. He's like, I'm going to be late. But he can't say no. So we see him rushing to school, and he's carrying takeout bags, cup. Basically, this mother and daughter like bought him food. So because of that, he's late to school once again. And that's when we see our other main character. Her name is Megumi. And Megumi is like the top student. She's the class president. She is constantly on time, and she kind of doesn't like Takahashi. And the reason is because Takahashi always comes in late. Every single day he shows up late to school, and his excuse is that I overslept. And so Megumi, she considers herself to be probably like the cutest girl in all of Japan. She's a little bit full of herself, but she's considered like the cutest. She's good at studying. She is the perfect council president. She's not like a born genius or anything like that. She puts in the hard work. She studies all the time. She always preps herself. She reviews all the lessons. She makes sure to go to sleep at the same time, 10 o'clock. And she always leaves time for her skincare routine. Basically, we're getting that everything, like all her accomplishments, it's not just because they were like granted to her or because she is like just a born genius or anything like that. This is something that she's put in work. She works to get where she's at. And so the reason why she doesn't like Takahashi is because this is a guy who just comes to school late every single day with the same excuse that he's overslept. And so she doesn't like the fact that he's so lazy. Even like one of her classmates are like, why do you care? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with us. She's like, yeah, maybe if he wasn't seated right next to me. But because he is, like, how should I put this? It feels like split ends in my hair. And so we start the next morning where Takahashi wakes up and Megumi is there. And she's eating his breakfast. And basically, Megumi is going to try to figure out why this guy is late all the time. She doesn't buy his excuse that he overslept. Like, she's like, what kind of person shows up to school every day late with arms full of vegetables and fish, food and flowers and stuff like that? What are you doing on your way to school that will make you late all the time? And they're in this argument when all of a sudden he senses something. So he rushes away from her. And so she basically just catches the train to school. And along the way, she overhears about how there's this ghost that is on the train, that, or at least rumors of a ghost, that there was a train accident and this person's face got messed up. And apparently she was like super hot. And so now she roams around looking for a new face. And that's when all of a sudden they start hearing this weird noise. And it turns out that the rumors are true. There is a ghost, and she is here looking for a new face. And she brainwashes this little girl to open the door. And the ghost comes and looks at the little girl and says, you know, you have such a cute face, give it to me. So Megumi throws her backpack at the ghost and basically says, you know, I'm not trying to compete with an elementary schooler, but I've got a way cuter face, don't I? And it seems like she's bothered by the fact that this ghost thinks the elementary school girl has a cuter face, but that's just her way of being. Like, she's actually trying to protect this little girl, and this is her way of like, how about I sacrifice myself in this girl's place? And so the ghost is going to steal Megumi's face. And as Megumi is being choked to death, she has this like vision where she's like, I never had a chance to meet my Prince Charming, who'll save me and sweep me up in his arms. And that's when all of a sudden Takahashi just flies in from the sky, breaks through the train, and punches the ghost and starts battling it. And he grabs Megumi and the Princess Carrie, and she looks at him, and yeah, basically she's kind of like seeing him as the Prince Charming. She's just kind of confused. She's like, what's going on here? Like, were you the one that just fought that ghost? Like, what's the deal with that? Are you one of those people that comes from like a long line of like spirit mediums? Is it something that like runs in your family? He's like, nah. One day I was just walking home from school, and this crow showed up and told me I was the chosen one, and that's it. And I was like, first off, that's hilarious. Like the fact that it's just some random dude just walking from school, and then all of a sudden this crow just shows up. It's like, hey, you're the chosen one. He's like, all right, I guess I am. The other interesting thing about the crow is that it constantly meows, despite the fact that it's a crow. It finishes all it says with meow. So yeah, why a three-legged crow would be talking like a cat, who knows? But that's what it does. He's like, yeah, and then like for some reason these guys just show up in the morning, even though they're ghosts. And the ghost gets pissed off. He's like, who cares if we come out in the morning? And that's when Takahashi just gets super pissed off, and he just starts beating the crap out of this ghost. And he's like, I care, you stupid idiot. Like every damn morning, I'm trying to get home to school, and I got to deal with you guys. And because of that, I'm always late. Why do you got to bother me at the busiest time of the day? Why can't you wait until after school? That way I won't have to be late. My grades won't be affected. You guys constantly showing up in the morning is just pissing me off. And so he beats the crap out of the ghost. And then it turns out that the conductor has been possessed. And even though the ghost has been defeated, the possession still hasn't worn off yet. And so this conductor plans on putting the train into overdrive. And as soon as it hits a turn, it's going to crash. So they have to find some way to stop the train. And the crow is like, we got two options. You can take your friend and run, or you can kill the conductor right now. I'm just kind of like, well, why would you have to kill the conductor? Why don't you just knock the conductor out and then slow down the train? Why would killing the conductor, like, how would killing the conductor solve this? Because the conductor has already put the train at full speed. So if you kill the conductor, then you just got a train going full speed with no driver. But if you go in there and if you're close enough to kill the conductor, you're close enough to knock him out and then just slow the train down. But yeah, anyways, he decides, you know what, I'll choose a third option. I'm going to stop the train head on. And the crow is like, well, that's nice and all, but you're going to die. The power I give you is great, but it doesn't make you invincible or immortal. So this is not like anything you've faced before. He's like, well, I won't know unless I give it a shot. So Megumi tries to talk him down. And she's like, have you been doing this all this time? Each and every morning, getting all bruised up? Have you been doing it because you've been out fighting ghosts and saving people? And he's like, nah, I'd just been oversleeping a lot. But she can tell that he's lying. And she's like, you know, I know it's unfair for someone like me who can't do anything but wait to be saved to grab your arm and tell you that you have to stop. But I can't stand to see someone who's worked so hard have to sacrifice themselves like this. So promise me, like, it's fine if you're late. Just show up to school alive no matter what. So he rushes out of the train, jumps in front of the tracks, and basically pulls a Spider-Man where he stops the train with his bare hands. Yeah, he's able to save the day, only a couple people are suffering minor injuries, and Megumi chases after Takahashi, sees that he's injured, and he's talking to this ghost. And she's wondering, like, what are you doing? Why are you walking around here? He's like, well, I thought it wouldn't be nice to just beat up this ghost and then just leave it like that. So I'm trying to help her find her face. And eventually the ghost finds her face. Rather than looking all like horrifying and skeletal, she now looks like how she was before she died. And then she's able to ascend into heaven. Takahashi's like, all right, well, it's time to go to school now. And she's like, no, you can't go to school. You're completely bloodied and bruised and battered. You look like you're on death's door. Why don't we get you to a hospital? He's like, nah, it's fine. Like, by the time I get there, I'll be all healed up. What I really need to do is focus on class. Like, my grades aren't so good right now. And she basically explains, well, like, why don't I just help you study? You go home, you rest, and I will help you. And she explains her reasoning is because she doesn't like seeing hardworking people having to sacrifice themselves. And then she also has, like, a quick little thing where she's like, besides and she sees like the vision of the horse that her Prince Charming was riding on. He's like, well, and then but she completely like changes it. She's like, if you're gonna be late, you might as well take the day off. He's like, oh, okay. So we can kind of see that she's starting to fall for him a little bit, where she thought this guy was just like this lazy, no good punk, but it turns out that the reason he's late every day is because he's putting his life on the line to fight a bunch of ghosts and save people's lives. So he actually is really hardworking, just not when it comes to school because he's constantly showing up late. So yeah, that's the first chapter. And I will say that I actually enjoyed this one a lot. Like the artwork was good. I like the fight scenes. Character of Takahashi is pretty funny. And I like the fact that it's not like he's getting his powers from like his ancestors, just like a bloodline of mediums or exorcists or ghost fighters or anything like that. It's just he's just some regular dude going to school, and then one day this three-legged crow that talks like a cat just looked at him and said, hey, you're the chosen one. Here's some powers. And he's like, all right, I guess I'm fighting ghosts now. So I also just like the fact that it's a crow that talks like a cat. Like, this is really weird. And I'm hoping that there's a reason for it. As for Megumi, I actually don't mind her character. Like, she starts off not annoying, but not the most interesting. Like, she's just basically the perfect student, believes she's the cutest in the world, so she's got like a Maki Ito complex going on. And then you get to find out more about her. And she's not just like this stuck-up girl. Like, she actually puts in all the work, puts in the time. She is where she's at because she works hard to get there. She studies all the time. She goes over reviews. She makes sure that she puts time off so that she can put all her products and skincare routine and everything like that. So she puts in the time and effort to get where she's at. And I like the fact that, we have this whole thing where at first she believes that Takahashi is just this lazy nobody. But then she's actually kind of thinking about it. She's like, the oversleeping thing doesn't make sense because he's always showing up with weird stuff in his arms. There's got to be more to this than him just oversleeping. And then once she finds out why he's always late, I like the switch of her like being more nice to him and trying to help him out and stuff. I don't know how I feel about the fact that this reveal was too quick. I feel like this could have been like a gag where you could have had something where she's constantly trying to find out why he's always late. And every time she gets close, something happens. Then again, I don't know, maybe that's a gag that will kind of run its course too quickly. But I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going to go with this, because this feels very much like a one-shot. Like I mentioned before, I haven't read the one-shot, so I don't know how similar this is to the one-shot. But this feels very much like a one-shot story. Like if you were to tell me this is a one-and-done chapter, I would believe you. Like, yeah, there's stuff in here that can keep the story going. Like, this feels like it could be a setup for an ongoing series, which it obviously is. But it also feels like it could just be ended with this one story, this one chapter. So I'm wondering where they're going to go with this. Where they're going to take the relationship between Takahashi and Megumi. Like, by relationship, I mean, is she going to be kind of like his sidekick? Is she going to be someone that kind of covers for him at school and tries to help keep up his grades? Is she actually going to get involved in the Exorcist fighting? Like, not necessarily fighting ghosts herself, but is she going to get involved in like a research sense? Like, she's going to be researching rumors and ghosts and what the stories are and maybe how to stop them, things like that. Like, how is she going to play into this series overall? And that's something that I'm kind of wondering about. But yeah, the fight scenes themselves, they're fine. Like, they're not battle shonen quality, but they're also not too terrible. It's a lot more drawn out and more action wise than Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi. Like I said, that series, it was promised to be a comedy battle shonen, but that one feels more like a slice of life with the occasional action. This one feels like it's going to be more action focused than that, so we'll see. But yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good start. Like, I'm interested to see where this goes. Again, the artwork is good. I like the characters. Like, you got Takahashi, who is constantly late to school, but for a good reason. He seems like a likable dude, even though I kind of want to see more about him. Like, who was he before he got these powers, and just more of how he is. You got the weird crow, who's just, I wonder what the story is with that, why he talks like a cat. And then you got Megumi. So, yeah, interesting set of characters. Interesting plot. I don't know how much further you can go with the whole oversleeping thing. So I guess maybe it is good that they addressed it here. Yeah, other than just a guy who shows up late to school because he's fighting ghosts. What else is there to this? There's got to be more than that. Like, that works as just a one-shot, but how are you going to turn that into an ongoing series? That's the thing that I'm wondering about, and I'm interested to see what this author does with it. But I think this is a good start. I liked it. So there you go. There's Oversleeping Takahashi. I'll leave a link down in the description below where you can read it for yourself. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.